Good afternoon all. Welcome to the lecture of measure and integration. Okay. So in last lecture we have seen what are the locally measurable sets. What is the definition of locally measurable set? आवाज येते ना माझा?
Yes, sir.
Tell me the definition of locally measurable sets.
The triplet X sigma algebra and mu be a measure space. A subset E of the set X is called locally measurable if E intersection B belongs to the sigma algebra. For each B belongs to the sigma algebra with the condition that measure of B is finite.
Yes, for each B belonging to curly B with measure of B is finite. Measure of B will be finite. Then we say that any subset E of X is a locally measurable. Okay. Now the next definition will be saturated measure. Okay. So see what is the saturated measure. Let capital X curly B mu be a major space. Major space. The major mu major major mu is called saturated measure. The major mu is called saturated measure. Saturated if every locally measurable set in X locally measurable set in universal set X is measurable. Okay. So the triplet, if the triplet capital X curly B mu be a major space, then the corresponding measure mu is called saturated measure if every locally measurable set in X is measurable. Then we say that the corresponding measure mu is a saturated measure. Okay. So let's see one result. Every sigma finite measure is saturated. This will we have to prove. That is, we have to prove that every sigma finite measure is a saturated measure. See its proof. Given that let capital X curly B mu be a major space. Be a major space where mu is sigma finite measure. Mu is a sigma finite measure. Okay, this will be given, and we have to prove that every sigma finite measure is a saturated measure, and any measure is said to be a saturated measure if each locally measurable set in X is measurable set. Then we say that the corresponding measure will be a saturated measure. Therefore, here we will take one arbitrary locally measurable set, and we will prove this arbitrary locally measurable set will be a measurable set. Then it is true for all such E. Then we say that every locally measurable set in this capital X is measurable, which implies the measure mu is a saturated measure. Okay. Now let E be a locally measurable set. measurable set. Okay, as mu is sigma finite. What is the definition of sigma finite measure? A measure mu is said to be sigma finite. If the triplet capital X curly B mu be a major space, then mu is called finite. If a measure of whole set X is finite, and it is called sigma finite, if there exists a sequence Xn of measurable sets such that capital X is nothing but union over n running from 1 to infinity Xn, and measure of Xn is finite for all n. So as here mu is sigma finite, then there exists here exists a sequence of measurable sets, a sequence Xn of measurable sets such that capital X is nothing but union over n running from 1 to infinity Xn, and measure of each Xn is finite, which is from the definition of sigma finite measure. Okay, but as here we have taken E be a locally measurable set, as E is locally measurable sets and mu is a sigma finite measure, and Xn be a sequence of measurable sets such that X equal to union over n running from 1 to infinity Xn, and any set E is said to be a locally measurable set if E is a subset of X, then E is said to be locally measurable if E intersection B is belonging to sigma algebra curly B, for each B belonging to curly B with measure of B is finite. As here we have taken E be a locally measurable set and Xn be a sequence of measurable sets, it means each Xn is belonging to curly B, which implies E intersection Xn is belonging to curly B for all n. Since here measure of each Xn is finite and E be a locally measurable set, each Xn is belonging to curly B. As E is locally measurable, then E intersection B is belonging to curly B for each B belonging to curly B with measure of B is finite. Here that B is nothing but this each Xn. Since measure of each Xn is finite and E is a locally measurable, which implies E intersection Xn is belonging to curly B, and which is true for all n. Okay, now, but as curly B is a sigma algebra, then it must be closed under countable union, which implies union over n running from 1 to infinity E intersection Xn is belonging to curly B. Since curly B is a sigma algebra, then it must be closed under countable union. Okay, but there is no term of n in E, therefore there is no effect of this countable union on E. That is, this one is nothing but E intersection union over n running from 1 to infinity Xn, and which belonging to curly B. But according to definition of sigma finite measure, union over n running from 1 to infinity Xn is nothing but X, which implies E intersection X is belonging to curly B. Now here E is a subset of X and X is any universal set, then E intersection X is nothing but E, and which belonging to curly B. As E is belonging to curly B, then by the definition of measurable set, any set E which is subset of X is said to be measurable if it is member of a sigma algebra. As here E is belonging to curly B and curly B is a sigma algebra, then E must be measurable. So E is measurable. So here we have taken E be any arbitrary locally measurable set, and we have proved that it is measurable set, which implies as it is true for arbitrary set, then it must be true for all the subsets of X. Okay, which implies every locally measurable set in capital X, sorry, in capital X is measurable. As every locally measurable set in capital X is measurable, then by the definition of a saturated measure, every sigma finite measure is saturated. Since here we have taken measure mu as a sigma finite measure is saturated. कोणाला काही डाऊट? हे नाही काहीतरी सांगा. आवाज येते का तुम्हाला माझं?
येस सर.
सांगा हो, कमीत कमी फक्त कळालंय का नाही ते तरी सांगा की. नाही काय विचारू नका म्हणून सांगा, मग डायरेक्ट शिकवतो.
सर स्क्रॉल अप करा की जरा.
येस. डाऊट आहे. सॅच्युरेटेड मेजर काय आहे? एखादा मेजर म्यू जर असेल तर त्याला सॅच्युरेटेड कधी म्हणणार आहे तुम्ही? जर एक्सचा प्रत्येक लोकली मेजरेबल सेट हा मेजरेबल असेल तर काय होतो? करस्पॉन्डिंग मेजर म्यू हा सॅच्युरेटेड मेजर होतो. त्यावरून तुम्हाला रिझल्ट काय प्रूव्ह करायचा आहे? प्रत्येक सिग्मा फायनाइट मेजर हा सॅच्युरेटेड हे दाखवायचा आहे. म्हणजे तुम्ही जर कोणताही एक लोकली मेजरेबल सेट घेतला एक्सचा, जर तो मेजरेबल येत असेल प्रत्येक ई साठी ट्रू झाला पाहिजे, तर तुमचा करस्पॉन्डिंग जो मेजर तुम्ही डिफाईन केलाय तो सॅच्युरेटेड होईल. पण इथं मेजरवर एक रिस्ट्रिक्शन दिली त्यांनी की सिग्मा फायनाइट मेजरच घ्यायचा, कारण सिग्मा फायनाइट मेजरसाठी ते ट्रू आहे हे आपल्याला दाखवायचं आहे. त्यासाठी आपण त्यांनी दिलेल्यानुसार काय घेतलं? कॅपिटल एक्स कर्ली बी म्यू हा मेजर स्पेस घेतला, त्यामधला म्यू हा तुमचा सिग्मा फायनाइट मेजर आहे. सिग्मा फायनाइट मेजर म्हणजे काय? असा मेजर जो की ही कंडिशन सॅटिस्फाय करेल. म्हणजे म्यू हा सिग्मा फायनाइट कधी होतो? इफ देयर एक्झिस्ट अ सिक्वेन्स एक्सएन ऑफ measurable sets such that capital X is nothing but union over n running from 1 to infinity xn and measure of each xn is finite. But already here we have taken E be a locally measurable set. That is, as we have to prove that the measure is saturated measure, then we have to take one set which is locally measurable and we have to prove it will be measurable. As xn be a sequence of measurable sets in curly B and E is locally measurable, then E intersection xn is belonging to curly B for all n, which is from the definition of locally measurable set. Definition of locally measurable set. But as curly B is a sigma algebra, then it must be closed under countable union, which implies union over n running from 1 to infinity E intersection x is belonging to curly B. As there is no term of n in E, then there is no effect of this countable union on E. Then it is nothing but E intersection union over n running from 1 to infinity xn, which is belonging to curly B. But by the definition of sigma finite measure, union over n running from 1 to infinity xn is nothing but capital X, which implies E intersection x is belonging to curly B. But here E is any subset of x which is locally measurable. So E intersection x is nothing but E, and E is belonging to curly B, where curly B is a sigma algebra. And by the definition of measurable set, any set which is belonging to sigma algebra is measurable, which implies E is measurable. So here we have taken one arbitrary E which is locally measurable and we have proved that it is a measurable. So from this we say that every locally measurable set in a capital X is measurable. But here we have taken measure mu as a sigma finite. Hence every sigma finite measure is a saturated measure. ठीक है?
Yes sir.
Okay. Now next result will be let E1 comma E2 be two measurable sets that is belonging to curly B, and measure of E1 symmetric difference E2 is equal to 0. Then we have to prove that measure of E1 is equal to measure of E2. Okay, this will we have already seen in real analysis. Okay, let us see. What is meant by E1? What is the value of E1 symmetric difference E2? Which is nothing but E1 symmetric difference E2 काय असतो? E1 minus E2 union E2 minus E1. Okay, so E1 symmetric difference E2 will be E1 minus E2 union E2 minus E1. That is, if suppose this will be our arbitrary X, in that suppose this will be E1 and this is nothing but E2. E1 E2, this is nothing but E1 intersection E2, and this will be some universal set U. Okay, So symmetric difference of E1 and E2 is nothing but E1 minus E2 union E2 minus E1. E1 minus E2 means this part. This part is nothing but E1 minus E2, and this one is nothing but E2 minus E1. Okay, and which is nothing but E1 symmetric difference E2. But here given that measure of E1 symmetric difference E2 will be equal to 0. Okay. Given that measure of E1 symmetric difference E2 will be equal to 0. Measure of E1 symmetric difference E2 is equal to 0. But measure of E1 symmetric E1 symmetric difference E2 is nothing but, which implies measure of E1 minus E2 union E2 minus E1 is equal to 0. But E1 minus E2 and E2 minus E1 are two disjoint sets. Since we have already removed the common part in between these two sets, therefore E1 minus E2 union E2 minus E1 must be disjoint, which implies measure of E1 minus E2 union E2 minus E1 is nothing but measure of E1 minus E2 plus measure of E2 minus E1, which is equal to 0. But we know that measure is always non-negative. As measure is non-negative and addition of these two measures will be equal to 0, then there is only one possibility that measure of both these sets will be equal to 0. Measure of E1 minus E2 is 0 and measure of E2 minus E1 will be equal to 0. But here we have to prove that measure of E1 is nothing but the measure of E2. For that, let us find out the measure of E1. First we have to find out the E1. Now E1 is nothing but, so this set E1 can be written as E1 minus E2. Okay, so this part, this is nothing but E1 minus E2, and this part is nothing but E2 minus E1. Okay, so here E1 can be written as E1 minus E2, that this part union this part E1 intersection E2, union E1 intersection E2. Okay, so E1 minus E2 union E1 intersection E2 is nothing but our total E1. Okay, now here again E1 minus E2 and E1 intersection E2 are again two disjoint sets. Therefore measure of E1 is nothing but measure of E1 minus E2 plus measure of E1 intersection E2. But from this star, measure of E1 minus E2 will be equal to 0, which implies measure of E1 is nothing but measure of E1 intersection E2. Okay, take this one as equation 1. Similarly, E2 is equal to, similarly E2 is nothing but E2 minus E1 intersection E1 union, E1 intersection E2. E2 minus E1 intersection, E1, E2 minus E1 union E1 intersection E2, that is this part. This will be E2 minus E1, and this is nothing but E1 intersection E2. Therefore total its union is nothing but our E2. Okay, so again these two sets are disjoints, which implies measure of E2 is nothing but measure of E2 minus E1 plus measure of E1 intersection E2. But measure of E2 minus E1 is equal to 0, which is from star. Here measure of E2 minus E1 is 0, which implies measure of E2 is nothing but measure of E1 intersection E2. But from equation 1 and 2, LHS is same, RHS is same, measure of E1 intersection E2, and here also RHS is measure of E1 intersection E2. As right hand side is equal, which implies left hand side must be equal, that is measure of E1 equal to measure of E2, and that is we have to put. Hence the required result. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Now the next result is, let capital X curly b mu be a complete measure space. Complete measure space. If capital E1 is belonging to curly b and measure of E1 symmetric difference E2 equal to 0, then E2 is also a member of curly b. Okay. So here we have given capital X curly b mu be a complete measure space, and also given that E1 be a member of sigma algebra, that is E1 is measurable set and measure of E1 symmetric difference E2 will be equal to 0, and we have to prove that E2 is belonging to B curly b, that is E2 is measurable. Okay. What is meant by complete measure space? Any measure space is said to be complete
If that
sigma algebra.
sigma algebra.
If that sigma algebra contains all the subset of a set of measure 0. Okay. Here given that capital X curly b mu be a complete measure space. Capital X curly b mu be a complete measure space. Measure space, and E1 is belonging to curly b, and also given that measure of E1 symmetric difference E2 is equal to 0. Okay. Now, but E1 symmetric difference E2 is nothing but E1 minus E2 union E2 minus E1. Okay, as E1 symmetric difference E2 is a union of these two disjoint set, which implies E1 minus E2 is a subset of E1 symmetric difference E2, and E2 minus E1 is also a subset of E1 symmetric difference E2. Okay, but as measure of E1 symmetric difference E2 will be equal to 0, E1 minus E2 and E2 minus E1 are two subsets of this E1 symmetric difference E2. Therefore, measure of this E1 minus E2 and E2 minus E1 must be less equal by measure of E1 symmetric difference E2. But measure of E1 symmetric difference E2 will be equal to 0, which implies measure of E1 minus E2 equal to measure of E2 minus E1 is nothing but 0. Since both are subsets of E1 in the symmetric difference E2 having measure 0. Okay, so measure of E1 minus E2 and measure of E2 minus E1 will be equal to 0. But given that capital X curly b mu be a complete measure space, be complete measure space. As it is complete measure space, then the curly b contains all subset of a set of measure 0. As here measure of E1 symmetric difference E2 is equal to 0, then its a sigma algebra curly b contains all its a subset, that is E1 minus E2 and E2 minus E1. Since complete measure space is nothing but curly, if its sigma algebra contains all subsets of a set of measure 0. As here measure of E1 symmetric difference E2 equal to 0, then and E1 minus E2 and E2 minus E1 belonging to subsets of E1 symmetric difference E2, then E1 minus E2 and E2 minus E1 must belong into curly b, which implies E1 minus E2 and E2 minus E1 both are measurable. That is, both are belonging to curly b. E1 minus E2 comma E2 minus E1 belonging to curly b, which is from the definition of complete measure space. But we have to prove that E2 is measurable, that is E2 belonging to curly b. Okay, now as here E1 is measurable, E1 minus E2 is also measurable, then E1 minus E2 complement is also measurable, which implies E1 minus E2 complement belonging to curly b. Since curly b is a sigma algebra, then it must be closed under complementation, and E1 minus E2 is belonging to curly b. Given that E1 is belonging to curly b, as E1 belonging to curly B and E1 minus E2 complement is belonging to curly B. Curly B is sigma algebra, then it must be closed under intersection, which implies E1 intersection E1 minus E2 complement is belonging to curly B. But E1 intersection E1 minus E2 complement is nothing but actually it is E1 minus of E1 minus E2. That is, this one is belonging to curly B. Okay, now from this one, this is nothing but actually E1 intersection E1 minus of E2 is nothing but intersection of E2 complement, and its complement is belonging to curly B. That is, this one is nothing but E1 intersection. Complement of this, it is by De Morgan's law, it is nothing but E1 complement union. Complement of complement is nothing but this set itself E2 and which belonging to curly B. Therefore, this one is nothing but E1 intersection E1 complement union E1 intersection E2, and which is belonging to our sigma algebra curly B. But E1 intersection E1 complement is always phi union E1 intersection E2, and which is belonging to curly B, which implies E1 intersection E2 is belonging to curly B. So here we have proved that E1 intersection E2 is belonging to curly B. Now we have to prove that E2 is belonging to curly B. But E2 is nothing but E2 minus E1 union E1 intersection E2. Okay, E2 minus E1 union E1 intersection is to E1 intersection E2 is nothing but E2. Okay, but E2 minus E1 is belonging to curly B. That is, here we have proved E2 minus E1 that is belonging to curly B, and E1 intersection E2 is also a member of curly B, and curly B is sigma algebra, then it must be closed under finite union. Therefore, E2 minus E1 union E1 intersection E2 is belonging to curly B, and which is actually nothing but E2. So E2 is belonging to curly B. So here we have proved that E2 is belonging to curly B. Hence E2 is measurable, and that is we have to prove. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, let capital X curly B mu be a major space and capital Y be a set which belonging to curly B. Okay, let curly by be a set which contains all A belonging to curly B, that is all measurable sets belonging to curly B, such that A is subset of this Y. Then define a function mu of Y on curly by by mu Y of E is equal to measure of E for all E belonging to this curly by. Then show that capital Y with curly by and major mu Y is a major space. Major space. Okay, so here we have given mu be a major space, which implies mu is a measure on curly B and capital X comma curly B will be a measurable space, and also given that Y be a set which is belonging to curly B, and we have given one set curly by which contains all measurable sets A, that is A belonging to curly B, such that all that A's are subsets of Y, and defined one function mu Y on that set curly by by mu Y of E is nothing but measure of E for all E belonging to curly by. See, that is this measure mu y and mu are coincides on all the elements of curly by. That is, they are both the measures are same in elements of curly by. That will be we have given, and we have to prove that the triplet y comma curly by comma mu y is a major space. ठीक आहे, कसं प्रूव्ह करायचं याला?
सर अगोदर वाय कर्ली बी ऑफ वाय ला मेजरेबल सेट दाखवायचं सर, त्यानंतर म्यू ऑफ वाय ला त्यावरती मेजर असून दाखवायचं.
कर्ली बी वाय वर हा मेजरेबल स्पेस कधी होईल? वाय कॉमा कर्ली बी वाय, जर हा कर्ली बी वाय हा सिग्मा अल्जेब्रा असेल तर. इथं आपल्याला आणखीन माहित नाही की हा सिग्मा अल्जेब्रा आहे का नाही. सिग्मा अल्जेब्रा प्रूव्ह कसं करतो आपण? फाय त्याचा मेंबर दाखवतो, आणखी तो क्लोज असेल काउंटेबल युनियन आणखीन कॉम्प्लिमेंटेशनच्या अंडर, then corresponding set will be a sigma algebra. So first we have to prove that this curly by is a sigma algebra. To prove that curly by is sigma algebra. Okay. Now the elements of curly by are in the form of this form, that is which are belonging to first this sigma algebra curly b and which are also subsets of y. Now we have to check whether phi is a member of this curly by or not. We know that as curly b is a sigma algebra, then phi is belonging to curly b, and empty set is a subset of every set, which implies phi is subset of this y also. Okay, so as phi is belonging to curly b and phi is a subset of y, then from the definition of this set curly by, this phi must be belonging to curly by. Since phi as b is sigma algebra, then phi must be belonging to curly b, and empty set is a subset of every set, which implies phi is a subset of this y also, and hence from the construction of this curly by, phi must be a member of curly by. Now we have to prove that this curly by is closed under complementation, and for that we have to take one arbitrary element a belonging to curly by. Let a is belonging to curly by. As a is belonging to curly by, which implies a is belonging to curly b and a is a subset of y. Okay, now we have to prove that the complement of a is also belonging to curly by. Okay, but as a is belonging to curly b and curly b is a sigma algebra, then its complement is again belonging to curly b and a is a subset of y. Actually now complement of a is nothing but y minus a. Okay, y minus a, that is y intersection a complement, that is which implies a complement is a subset of y. Okay, so here we get a complement is belonging to sigma algebra curly b and a complement is also a subset of y, which implies a complement is belonging to curly by, which is from the definition of given set curly by, which implies curly by is closed under complementation. Closed under complementation. Now it remains to check whether it is closed under countable union or not. Okay, so for that let AI be a countable collection of elements in curly by. Okay, as AI be a countable collection of elements in curly by, which implies each AI is belonging to curly b and each AI is a subset of our set y for all I. Since each AI is a member of curly by and curly by is nothing but a belonging to curly b, such that a is subset of y, as each AI is member of curly by, which implies each AI is member of curly b and each AI is subset of y. But curly b is a sigma algebra. As it is sigma algebra, then it must be closed under countable union, which implies union over I running from 1 to infinity AI is belonging to curly b. And as here each AI is a subset of y, then countable union of these AIs are again belonging to y. Since here each AI is a subset of y, then its countable union must be a subset of y, since all the elements are belonging to y itself, which implies union over I running from 1 to infinity AI is also a subset of y. So here union over I running from 1 to infinity AI is belonging to curly b and union over I running from 1 to infinity AI is a subset of y. Then from the definition of curly by, this union over I running from 1 to infinity ai is belonging to curly by, and which is from the definition or construction of this curly by. As union over I running from 1 to infinity ai is belonging to curly by, which implies curly by is closed under countable union. Closed under countable union. So here curly by is closed under countable union and intersection, and phi is a member of curly by, which implies curly by is
Sigma algebra.
Sigma algebra.
the sigma algebra. So here we get curly by as a sigma algebra. Now if our defined measure mu I is a measure on curly by, then the corresponding triplet y comma curly by comma mu I will be a measure space, and for that we have to check the two conditions, that is whether the measure of phi will be equal to 0 under given condition, that is mu I of phi equal to 0, and whether measure mu y is closed under countable additive property, that is mu I of union over I running from 1 to infinity ai is nothing but summation I running from 1 to infinity mu I of ei. So we will be check. Now to prove that capital Y comma curly by with measure mu y is a measure space, is a major
Sir, the duplet y curly p of y is measurable, na?
y.
Because curly p y is a sigma algebra.
Yes, then
That duplet y curly p of y is measurable.
हाँ मेजरेबल स्पेस आहे की मेजरेबल स्पेस आणि मेजर स्पेस मध्ये फरक आहे ना.
Yes, sir.
We have to prove that y comma curly by comma mu y is a major space. Here we get y comma curly by is a measurable space. Since any ordered pair is said to be measurable space if its curly b will be a sigma algebra. As here curly by is a sigma algebra, then the ordered pair y comma curly by is a measurable space. But we have to prove that the triplet is a major space, and for that we have to check the two conditions. So na.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, first we will check whether the measure of phi will be equal to 0 or not. Now, mu y of phi. Here, by given definition, what is mu y? Mu y of e is nothing but mu of e for all e belonging to curly by. As here we have already proved that phi is belonging to curly by. Then mu y of phi is nothing but mu of phi, since phi is belonging to this set curly by. So mu y of phi is equal to mu of phi, which is from given definition. That is, since phi is belonging to curly by, but mu is a measure. As mu is measure, then mu of phi equal to
0.
0, which implies here we get mu I of phi is equal to 0. So first condition we satisfies. Now second, let ai be a countable collection of disjoint elements in curly by, and we have to prove that measure mu y is a countable additive property. Holds. Okay, so consider mu y of union over I running from 1 to infinity ai. Okay, and we have proved that the set curly by is closed under countable union. As here each ai be a member of curly by, then as curly by is sigma algebra, then it must be closed under countable union, which implies union over I running from 1 to infinity ai belonging to curly by, and the measure mu I is coincides with measure mu on the members of curly by. Therefore, mu I of union over I running from 1 to infinity AI is nothing but mu of union over I running from 1 to infinity AI, which is from given definition. That is mu I and mu are same on elements of curly by. But mu is a measure on curly b. As it is a measure on curly b, then it must hold the property of countable additiveness. That is summation over I running from 1 to infinity measure of AI. But each AI is a member of curly by, and on elements of curly by, mu is nothing but mu y, which is nothing but summation over I running from 1 to infinity mu y of AI. So here mu y of union over I running from 1 to infinity AI is nothing but summation over I running from 1 to infinity mu y of AI. Therefore, the measure mu y is countable additive. As it is countable additive, then we say that mu y is a measure on curly by. As mu y is a measure on curly by, which implies the triplet capital Y, comma sigma algebra curly by with measure mu y is a measure space, and that is we have to hence the required result. तुम्हाला काही डाऊट यामध्ये?
नो सर.
Okay. We measure mu y on mu y in above example is called as above example is a restriction on measure mu to y. Hence, capital Y, comma curly by with measure mu y is a restricted measurable space. Restricted measurable space. Space of measurable space capital X comma curly b with measure mu. Okay, such type of measure is called a restricted measure. Since here we have restricted our measure mu to mu y on the elements of curly by, hence mu y is called a restricted measure. Since here we have restricted the measure mu on the elements of curly by as mu y of e is nothing but the measure of e. Outside the elements of curly by, we don't know what is the nature of mu of e and mu y of e. But for the elements of curly by, both the measures are same. So here we have restricted our measure mu on the elements of curly by. Hence, such a measures are called the restricted measures. Okay. Now we have to see the measurable functions, and before that, we have to prove again the four inequalities. Actually, this is a subpoint measurable function. Okay, so first let capital X comma curly b be a measurable space and f be a extended real valued function. Extended real valued function on X. Function defined on X or on X? Defined on X. Then the following four inequalities are equivalent. it is equivalent. Okay, in that first one is x whenever f of x less than alpha, less than alpha, belonging to curly b for each alpha. Second one is x whenever f of x less equal by alpha, belonging to sigma algebra curly b for each alpha. Third one, set x such that f of x is greater than alpha and which belonging to curly b for each alpha. And fourth one is nothing but x such that f of x is greater or equal by alpha and which belonging to sigma algebra curly b for each alpha. And we have to prove these four conditions are equivalent. First we will prove one implies two. One implies two. That is, we have to use the first one to prove the second one. Okay. Now the set x whenever f of x less equal by alpha is actually nothing but the set x f of x less than alpha. Sorry. It's less than alpha plus 1 by n whenever intersection is running from 1 to infinity. Okay, so the countable union of this set, that is x such that f of x less than alpha plus 1 by n is nothing but the x whenever f of x less equal by alpha. Since for n equal to 1 it is nothing but alpha plus 1, that is x whenever f of x is less than alpha plus 1. For n equal to 2 it is nothing but alpha plus 1 by 2, plus at n equal to 3 it is nothing but alpha plus 1 by 3. But when we take the intersection of all those sets, then alpha must be present in that element. Therefore its arbitrary intersection is nothing but x whenever f of x less equal by alpha. Since as n tending to infinity, then it will be nothing but 0. It tending towards 0 but not exactly equal to 0. Therefore for each set the element alpha is present. As each intersection the alpha is present, then its arbitrary intersection must contain that element. Therefore x whenever f of x less equal by alpha, which is nothing but countable intersection of this set, that is f of x less than alpha plus 1 by n. But here from 1, x whenever f of x less than alpha is belonging to curly b for each alpha. Therefore alpha plus 1 by n is also for alpha plus 1 by n, which is also true. As here, as we said, x whenever f of x is less than alpha plus 1 by n is belonging to curly b for each n, and curly b is a sigma algebra, then it must be closed under countable intersection, which implies intersection over n running from 1 to infinity x such that f of x less than alpha plus 1 by n is belonging to curly b. But countable intersection of this set is nothing but x such that f of x less equal by alpha, which is belonging to curly b, and that is we have to prove. Hence 1 is implies 2. Now we have to prove it 2 implies by 3. Okay, that is we have to use the second one to prove the third one. Third one is nothing but x whenever f of x greater than alpha. Consider set x such that f of x is greater than alpha, and we have to use the second set to prove the third one, that is x whenever f of x less equal by alpha, and which is true for each alpha. Okay, less equal by the set x whenever f of x greater than alpha is just a complement of this set. that is x whenever f of x greater less equal by alpha. If we take its complement, then it is nothing but all x such that f of x is greater than alpha. But from 2, that is x whenever f of x is less equal by alpha is belonging to curly B. That is such type of each set is measurable as x as the set x whenever f of x less equal by alpha is belonging to curly B, and curly B is a sigma algebra, then it must contain its complement also. So which is less equal by alpha, complement is belonging to curly B, and complement of this set is nothing but this set, which implies x whenever f of x greater than alpha is belonging to curly B, which implies 2 implied by 3. Now we have to prove 3 implies by 4. For that, pick 4 as x B set which contains all elements, right? And it is nothing but intersection over n running from 1 to infinity x whenever f of x is greater than alpha minus 1 by n. The intersection over n running from 1 to infinity x whenever f of x greater than alpha minus 1 by n is nothing but this set. As n tending to infinity, then it will be 0. So, but such type of sets are all belonging to curly B, which implies its arbitrary intersection is again belonging to curly B. That is intersection over n running from 1 to infinity set x such that f of x greater than alpha minus 1 by n is belonging to curly B, which implies the set x whenever f of x greater equal by alpha is also belonging to curly B, and hence 3 is implied by 4. Now it remains to prove 4 implies 1. 4 implies 1. Now 1 is nothing but the set x which contains f of x which is less than alpha, and which is just a complement of x whenever f of x greater equal by alpha. That is the fourth one. Its complement, and this one is belonging to curly B from fourth one. Its complement must be belonging to curly B. Then this set is also belonging to curly B. So here 1 implies 2, 2 implies 3, and 3 implies 4, and finally 4 is implies 1. So from this we say that 1 is implied and implied by 2, implies and implied by 3, which is implied and implied by 4, and hence the required result. Okay, kunal काही doubt? हे नाही काहीतरी सांगू.
No, sir.
ओके, ऑलरेडी प्रूव्ह केलंय आपण रिअल मध्ये, काही असं विशेष काही केलं नाही आपण. नाव टेल मी द डेफिनेशन ऑफ मेजरेबल फंक्शन. व्हॉट इज मेजरेबल फंक्शन? An extended real valued function. Extended real valued function f defined on a set x is called measurable with respect to sigma algebra curly B with respect to sigma algebra curly B if it holds one of the above property, one of the above inequality or property is nothing but the measurable function, or its another definition is nothing but any function f is say an extended real valued function f is said to be measurable if its domain is measurable and it holds the one of the property among the that 4 properties. Okay, as here given that the function f is a extended real valued function which is defined on x, and here we have to see whether this function is measurable with respect to sigma algebra curly b. It means its domain will be measurable only. That is these 4 definitions are equivalent. Okay, कुणाल काही डाउट?